You can use whatever fabric scraps you have, just make sure they're not too small. You're also going to need your camera strap, 100% cotton batting. It's just easier to use that than polyester. And you can see there some of the other supplies you'll need, either a ruler or measuring tape, and a rotary cutter, etc. You want to cut your fabric into 4.5-inch wide strips. As you see here, you see where the ruler is, it's measuring 4.5. So you want your scraps to be at least that big. Then out of the 4.5-inch wide strips, you're going to cut them into 2.5-inch wide segments, like you see here. And you want to cut at least 12, and this is for a basic or generic sized DSLR camera strap. You want to measure yours and then go by those measurements. But here I have 12, and that's just perfect. So you can see my strap measured 23.5 inches right before the leather part of the strap starts, and you want to add an inch to that measurement. So 1 inch to that added is 24.5 inches, and that's the length that I want my strap to be. Now you want to line up your fabric rectangles in whatever order you want, but make sure that the orientation is the same as you're going to see here in the next picture. Just like that. You want your strip to be 4.5 inches wide by whatever the length is of your specific strap. Now you're going to sew them together using a 1/4-inch seam allowance. And I show you here, you want to lay them pretty sides touching, just like that, and then go ahead and sew down the side. Remember what we do after we sew any seam, you want to press it with an iron, then open it and press it again, and that just helps set the seam and the stitches. You're going to continue the same method until you have your entire strip sewn up. Just like that. Then you want to turn the strip over so you have the ugly side or all the seams showing up towards you, and you want to turn those two short ends in about 1/4 of an inch, just like you see there. Press them in place. Now you're going to lay your strip of fabric on top of the batting, so make sure that your batting strip is big enough to go around all sides of your strip. I like to use the quilt basting spray, but you can also use pins to hold it in place, and just lay it like that on top of the batting so it's secure. Now you're going to take a straight stitch on your machine and sew really close to the long edges of your strip. If you see closely on the side edges, you see how close I stitched to the side. Just like that. That's going to help secure it so when you start stitching and quilting on it. So you want to trim away any excess batting on both the long sides, and then in the next few pictures I'm going to show you on the short sides I want you to cut as well. Notice it says be careful not to cut through the fabric. So we're going to fold the side ends. I fold the fabric up a little bit, if you can see it's bent up, and then cut the batting under it. And this is what your finished strips should look like so far. Just like that, trim away any of the excess batting. And now you're going to quilt it. And quilting is just using whatever stitches you want on your machine to stitch through both layers. Like you see here, I just played around with some of the decorative stitches on my machine, and you can use whatever. If you don't have any decorative stitches, feel free to use just a basic straight stitch or some zigzag stitches like you see there. That would work fine as well. And some people think that you need to have 3 layers of fabric to quilt through them, but you don't. So notice I just have the fabric and then the batting. You can do that. So we check our measurements one last time here and make sure that everything is measuring up like I need it to be. Now you're going to fold the strip in half lengthwise so that the fabric is touching each other on the inside, and you can see what we're seeing on the outside is just the batting. You want to lay that so that the raw edges match, and then pin it up all the way down the entire length of the strap. And then you're going to use just a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and you're going to sew up that entire side that you just pinned. Remember not to sew over those pins. Take them out as you go. Now you want to grab your safety pin. If you don't have a big one, you can use a little one. It'll just be a little bit more work, but I like to have some big safety pins on hand. You're going to open up one of the ends of your strap, and I'm going to show you in the next picture here how I fold it. Make sure that you pinch the fabric. Notice the safety pin is going through 2 layers of just one side. You want to close up the pin, and that's going to help grab the fabric. So as you're feeding it through, it'll help you push it through. And this is going to turn the strap inside out. So notice the head of the safety pin is going in the tube, and you're just going to keep feeding it through with your hands, just grabbing and pushing the safety pin all the way through. You can see that's about halfway. This is probably the hardest part, and it's not even that hard. It just takes a little work and time. Just do it all the way till you come out on the other side like that, and then you can grab that end and just pull it out, and you'll see the entire strap turns itself inside out. And you want to lay it so you see that that center seam we sewed up is laying down the center of one of the sides of your strap. Now we're going to grab our iron. This is why I recommend use 100% cotton batting, because the polyester batting, once you hit it with the iron, it's going to melt it. And so this actually helps give the strap a little bit more substance, and it'll feel more padded. So once you do that and press out the seam so that it's laying down the center, you can see it's nice and flat here, no crinkles or anything in the fabric. Then I like to take my safety pin just to help me feed my regular camera strap through the cover that we just made. Feed it through, and when you come out on the other end, you can just reattach it to your camera and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you can check me out at craftygemini.com. Thank you.